Good morning. Welcome to the Betty Engelstad Sioux Center in Grand Forks, North Dakota, home to University of North Dakota Fighting Hawks men's and women's basketball. This is the Big Sky Conference Basketball Digital Media Day. Just a reminder as you join us, if you're also watching the video stream of each press conference, please mute your device. Video streams will be on a delay, and any audio from the stream feeding into your phone will cause an echo. We welcome to the dais our head coaches. Entering his 11th season is head coach of the University of North Dakota men's basketball team, Brian Jones, and head coach of the UND women's basketball team, now in his 5th season, Travis Brewster. The players joining us here today at the Big Sky Basketball Digital Media Conference from the Fighting Hawks men's basketball program. He was named to the All-Big Sky first team after his junior season and was just named the Big Sky Preseason Player of the Year for this upcoming season. A senior from Brooklyn Park, Minnesota, Quinton Hooker. And from the Fighting Hawks women's program, she was the second leading scorer on the team as a junior and an all-academic Big Sky team member now, a senior from Madison, Wisconsin, Makailah Dyer. We'll begin with some questions for our coaches. And we'll begin with Coach Jones. What were some of your goals coming out of last season and through this off season coming into this season?
Goals, just continue to work on the chemistry. I thought that was a big part of our success last year, just developing that, because we did have a fair amount of new guys, and our guys working on that, because I feel that's important. But finishing, that's something we've talked to our guys about. I think we lost from a 17-win season to 24. It was a matter of 19 total points. So just being able to finish games, just finish plays late in the game, and the confidence to do that. There's a variety of things. It's foul shooting, it's valuing the ball, getting a big stop. So just focusing on that, but just overall just getting better. I thought we had a lot of guys returning, but them improving individually. If they got better individually, obviously we'll be better as a group. Coach Brewster, same question.
You know, the big thing for us is just to maintain a level of consistency, to be able to keep having success. When you look at, we started out slow last season and turned it on a little bit, and that's one of the things we've talked about in the postseasons, being able to play at a high level at all times. And really the big one for us is we got to take care of the basketball. I think that's for us is a huge thing. If we master that, you'll see a lot of success this season.
We'll start with Coach Brewster. What do the core returning players bring back to this roster? What do they offer you moving forward into this new season?
Well, I'm really excited about that group because of their leadership skills. The other part about them is that they have an ability to pay attention to detail. Now we got to get that to carry over to the other players, but they have a sense of tenacity about them when they play. And you can see that in their experience that they've garnered throughout the season. Obviously, the seniors this year, they were part of our championship team as freshmen, and transfers. So that's something unique that they got to carry on and get the other players to understand.
Coach Jones, same question.
For us, it's just a group of guys who are extremely coachable. We love to be around, and they're fearless. They were young. We were the 7th youngest team in the country last year. Had success with that. Obviously, they're a year older, but the way I think they really embrace what North Dakota's about, and that's serving one another, making it on offense. We're really unselfish, have a lot of weapons, and a lot of variety on the floor with guys who can give you a scoring punch. But more importantly, I think it's a group that is willing to do what they need to do to win games. It's not about who scores. It's about what we're trying to do to find a way to play at a championship level, like Coach Brew was just talking about, because they have that type of, that's what the type of people they are. It starts obviously with Q, but when they see it from him every day, it's easy to follow a guy like that, and I think our young guys have really just bought into that. So we're excited about what we have, the chemistry, but the selflessness, and just understanding what's allowed us to have success, and that's playing for one another, playing unselfish, and just doing, it's the we over me mindset. It's not about you, it's about what we're trying to do.
Coach Jones, tell us a little bit about some of the newer faces that have entered this program and how they fit in, and who should fans maybe become a little bit more familiar with as we move into this season?
Well, I think we do have a fair amount of new faces, and honestly, we're only through 12 practices. We're still trying to figure that out, but I think we got a couple freshmen and Billy Brown and Keenan Walter that's really surprised us as coaches going into the year. We thought maybe they would redshirt, but because of their quick transition and their high IQ, they've really impressed us as coaches. But then we have a couple junior college transfers that are still like freshmen. They're feeling their way in, and Jafar Kinsey and Saul Rolls Tyson. That is again, they're different, but they're energy guys. Jafar's a defender who's going to be able to make some open shots for us, and Saul's he's an energy guy too, but more of a screener, rebounder, and a guy who runs the floor. So we're excited about that, but I want to talk about even guys like Josh Collins, who didn't play a lot for us as a freshman last year, has really evolved as a sophomore. He's matured. So I think you're going to see more minutes from him, even though he's not a newcomer. He just didn't get a lot of minutes last year. So I think he's really worked on his game and really improved that aspect. So he should help us as well.
Coach Brewster?
You know, for us, obviously, we brought in a transfer in Holly Johnson that's going to do a nice job, but she's still got to learn her system, so it's a give and take a little bit, but she has that experience. The same thing with Kayla Burrows, who transferred in to us as well, and then added Chastity Franklin to the mix. So they have experience, but at the same time, they're learning the system of what we're trying to do and how we play, but they're all coachable in the aspect of they really want to be better. And when you have players like that, when they come in, it's great. And then we add back to the fold again of having Bailey Strand, having a Grace Swasky, who were on the team but they were injured. Now you're really looking at an opportunity to do something special, but it's gonna take some time to gel yet. We got to continue to play hard, and again, that's where that senior group comes into play of how they play. And when you look at somebody like a Makailah Dyer and Leah Zabla, who really, best way I can say is they take people underneath their wing to try to make them better, because they were in that situation once. And so, you know, to be able to see that growth is going to be obviously with the coaches on the floor, but at the same time in the locker room.
Coach Brewster, so much is said about playing here at home at the Betty and building this atmosphere, which has been so great over the years. What do you expect here this year with this atmosphere and being able to play in the Betty and creating a new atmosphere with a new season and a new team?
Well, first and foremost, our fans are just tremendous. You know, it's hard to enjoy it as a coach, as you're coaching a game, so I have to come watch the men's game, so I get a chance to be a part of that. But for our players, I know that they feel that vibe and they feel that energy, and when you get to see that firsthand of your players being excited about it, it's pretty special. You know, and they know it, and watching them get out there, they get a little extra juice from our fans. So protecting the home court is great, but you know, it's just really unique to have that type of sport here in Grand Forks.
Coach Jones, you add to that?
Yeah, it's definitely great fans. What I'm encouraged by on the women's side and our side is the student more involvement. I think that's what matters the most is their peers. And that's what we saw last year. Obviously, our athletes turned out from other sports, which was great. But I thought that became that positive peer pressure where the fellow student body started showing up for both men's and women's. And that's what they want. Again, that's the sixth man that allows them to play at a high level. And that's what we saw. That's what I'm encouraged about. I'm hopeful they will return that, because this place is a tough place to play when you have not only the main fans, but then once you add in that student body, I think that's what makes this place even special, dating way back to when they played in the Hislop. That's what has made North Dakota such a unique and a great place to play.
Let's turn our attention to the road to Reno and maybe describe what the basketball championships in Reno were like last year for your team and what it was like for the conference. What was your assessment?
Well, we had fun because we were able to play a couple games. We played 3 games, and I'm just excited. This is why I'm excited that our league is doing this, because I truly feel every team in this league earns that opportunity to play. That's what March Madness is about. Every program and every kid works just as hard as everybody else. So being able to do that and give that opportunity, and again, that's where upsets happen. So no matter if you finish first or last, you're going to have that opportunity, and I think that's why the basketball side of things is a great sport. But Reno was good. It was obviously we won 2 games, so it was good for us. But it was a great opportunity, again, just to brand our league, and that we have it at a neutral site and a unique, and Reno obviously is a great place to have it. So I just think it's, as we continue to move forward and brand our league, so we have a great league, it's just more about educating people around the country what we're all about. But it was, for year one, I thought it was well run, and obviously in year two we're going to make strides on that, and you're going to see what you saw on the men's and women's side, some competitive basketball regardless of the seeds.
Coach Brewster?
You know, I really believe Coach Jones hit it on the head with that, and it was great for our players. They were all excited about having that opportunity to go somewhere and play. Just added to that excitement of the end of the year. You know, obviously for us, we were a little disappointed in ourselves with how we ended out in the conference tournament. But you know, you got another opportunity to do it again this year, and when you look at playing in Reno, you know, I think the second year now you're going to see the community a little bit more involved from Reno itself, so that's going to add some excitement to it. I know our players really enjoyed just the hospitality of everybody, you know, from being in the hotel to restaurants. I mean, it was very, very well done. It was exciting.
And just to add on to that, I know tickets for the tourney go on sale November 11th. Would you encourage the fan base here from Grand Forks and from the state of North Dakota to discover the tournament in Reno?
Oh, absolutely. It's a great opportunity, again, to kind of make it kind of a little bit of a vacation to support your favorite team in the University of North Dakota and the state. And you know, it's one of those things that it's a chance to bond again. You get a little more access to seeing our players because they'll be walking around and things, so it's fun.
Coach Jones?
I agree. I think it's a unique place. It's a destination place. But again, as a fan of basketball, as I mentioned, both sides of the tournament, you're going to see some great basketball. As a fan, you're definitely going to get your feel of it, and be able to see other programs play that you'll probably only see once a year. But again, that's where the passion is high. That March is where it's all about. You win or you go home. And as a fan, that's why these conference tournaments are so fun to be a part of.
Thank you, coaches. I know you'll be available here for some of the various media that will be piping in here momentarily, but we'll turn our attention to the players here and get some general questions in their direction. We'll start with Quinton. You stepped off the floor last spring. What were some of the motivations, I guess, heading through the offseason for you as a veteran leader, for you and your fellow teammates as you headed into the offseason, into this new season?
Well, for us, it was we did well in the tournament, and we thought we had a pretty good season, but we want to build on that, and that was probably our biggest motivation. Just getting so far into the tournament and seeing postseason play too, and you know, that's something that we hold on to and something that we want to surpass and get better at. And knowing that we had so many young guys last year and pretty much like a new team, and having that core group of guys come back is something that we're really excited about for this year.
Makailah?
I think for us, we thought we could have done a little bit better in Reno, so I think we're a really hungry group now, and especially that senior class, that core group of us, we want to get back to the championship like we had our first year, and we're thinking the younger girls are kind of jumping on board with that, so we're just excited to build on what we started.
Now, you're a veteran player, Makailah. What are some of the things that you felt like you could individually kind of improve at during the offseason to take your game to yet another level here into your final season here at UND?
I really want to focus on my consistency as a player and as a leader. I think games that we tended to do well, I was at that level, but there's some games where I fell off with that. So I think being more consistent as a player and as a leader was something I really focused on for the summer.
Quinton?
Same thing as Makailah said, you know, being a leader and being that voice that the young guys can look to. The biggest thing for me was just continue to build that team chemistry and the relationships with the team overall. And the thing that I think brought our team closer together was starting to do just more activities together and doing things like fellowship for like Christian athletes, you know, something that really can get us all on the same page and really bond as a team.
Now that you've been in practice now for up to about 2 weeks or so, give or take, how has that gone, and has that been an eye-opener for some, and what have you learned just through the few practices that you've had?
You know, it's going to be a fun season. It's through these few practices that we've had, you know, there's been a lot of growth. and it's shocking really just at how far like the newcomers have come and bought into the system and what we're doing as a team, and the new guys, all the freshmen, having a year more experience and transfers, especially from last year too. It's really encouraging and exciting, and we're ready to get after it.
Your thoughts on that, Makailah?
I'm really excited about the season. We were starting a little bit up and down, but now we're trying to figure it out a little bit, and I think we're doing really well with progressing, and we're starting to push the ball and play better together and build that team chemistry. So I think it's going to be an exciting season as well.
You touched on being a bigger leader, Makailah, and you were the second leading scorer. Touch on just kind of that, kind of evolving into maybe even another step forward for you heading into this season.
I think for me, it can't just be about scoring. I want to try and be a more well-rounded player, and I think that's a big part of being a leader, is just doing everything possible to allow the team to win, whether it's get a big rebound or get a stop, or maybe to hit that game-winning shot, or maybe to be on the bench cheering for a teammate. But I think whatever I can do to help the team win, just be a better all-around player.
Quinton, you had the accolades of a preseason Big Sky Player of the Year, dealing with that, receiving that, just your feelings and having that tag going into a season.
It's an honor and a blessing to know that there's that respect in the league like that. But really, it's something that I'm not paying that much attention to. Really, it's about the team and what we're going to do this season, and it's really just guided along that. We're really looking forward to having a great season and trying to produce something that will create history here at North Dakota.
Let's just take one quick look at the road to Reno again from the player's perspective. Quinton, your thoughts on just the experience of playing in that neutral site atmosphere? It had to be unique with all the teams involved. Just what was that experience like, and do you look forward to having that opportunity, getting everyone together and showcasing everything on one floor?
Definitely. No, I think that's really what it is a showcase. Everybody puts in hard work throughout the entire season, and going to Reno, I think, was just a great atmosphere, great environment to play in and to be a part of, and something that I know myself and my team is really looking forward to, and I know that each team is ready to get back after it there.
Makailah?
Yeah, I definitely agree with what Q said. It's exciting. It's a great atmosphere to play in. I think it's awesome for the conference to take that step to go to a neutral site. So yeah, we're really excited to get back there. We had a good time last year, and we're looking forward to going back.
I'd like to thank our student athletes. They also will be available for our call moderator, and in fact, at this time, we'd like to open up this to our conference call. Just a reminder here again, if you're watching the video of this press conference, please press mute on your device when you begin to ask your questions, because the video streams will be on delay, and any audio from that stream feeding into your phone will cause that echo, which we're trying to avoid. So again, call moderator if you'd like to begin questions for our coaches.
What is there? You ask one?
Well, I'll continue to ask a couple of questions. Quinton, when you look at this league that you play in the Big Sky Conference, I think it goes both ways. People talk about the travel to North Dakota, but it's travel for UND each and every conference road trip. That's probably a big challenge still for you as a senior, but it's probably even a challenge that you probably have to kind of give a heads up to the young players too, that what they have to expect to get ready to take on that challenge of travel during the season.
Yeah, no, traveling is definitely a big part of our conference and just our schedule overall. Having to fly to each and every game and bus from one to the next. But really it's just about time management, and something that here, the resources that we have at UND has just helped myself and my team. It's something that, the young guys get used to, and something that you just kind of have to experience. But I look at it as a positive. We get to see the country and be a part of something bigger than ourselves.
Makailah, to add to that, it's probably more about prepping one's body for those travels during the off season and during the preseason, just because it is so taxing, because it's a big conference. It's a fun conference, but it is challenging in that regard, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, it's just about time management. You got to know when you need to study or when you need to sleep, when you need to eat. But coaches do a good job of getting us to some nice restaurants and stuff like that, getting some good food in our stomachs. But it's just nice being able to see different places, going on the road, and but we take it as a challenge. You know, it's nowhere easy to play in our conference on the road. But we're excited about traveling this year.
Coach Brewster, one of the things that so often we talk about from week to week is the focus on one's own team, but it has to be said that this conference has so many tremendously talented and skilled players throughout it, and that's the great fun about playing week to week in the Big Sky, isn't it?
Yeah, it's always a challenge too, is that you don't want to catch them when they're hot. You want to be the hot one, but you know, it's one of those night in and night out. You're going to see some really good basketball like Coach Jones was talking about. But these players, they just seem to keep getting better and better each year. Each team always has somebody, you know, evolving, taking on different roles, and you know, you want to make sure that your team's doing the same thing and be the better one that night. But you know, it's fun.
Coach Jones, in regards, on top of that, there's so many great players, but also there's a lot of coaches that have been there for a while, and you begin to kind of understand how they like to play the game of basketball. And then there's sometimes infusion of some new coaches I know this year, and so you kind of have to figure that on the go. So that adds an additional challenge to not only the talented players, but how the different coaching styles are in the league.
Well, there is. One, I don't think this league on either side gets enough credit for the talent of players, but obviously great coaches. That's why it's great to have the conference. We got to continue to brand our league because there's a lot of quality coaches, quality players. But it is a challenge when you have so many new coaches because you do learn how to play against a certain system and a certain style of coach. You know a lot of times what their game plans are pretty consistently there, so you have a feel. This year we have a few new guys, so it's going to be going around it for the first time, and that's always learning. So, but that's great for coaches as well. Sometimes we get caught in a rut or a routine, and it's going to keep us on our toes to always. As Bruin mentioned before, there are no night offs in this league. Our league is going to be as tough as it's ever been, and our history in it up thus far, I feel each year it's gotten better. Now the depth of it is extremely difficult, but now you throw in some new coaches and new styles, it's going to add some new flavor and our, you know, as a staff, we're going to have to really be disciplined to our preparation side of it.
All right, we'll take a question from our media, and they can be addressed to either coaches or players. Wayne?
Brian, can you talk just a little bit about how the league has changed? You know, this is for Travis too. How the league has changed, you know, style-wise since North Dakota's came in 2012?
My opinion, obviously, is just my opinion. I felt our first year the league was predominantly as I call it, a big league. They play a more traditional high major style of ball where you have a traditional power forward and a traditional center. I think since we've been in it, I don't know if part of me thinks we've kind of helped that evolve to where it's a little bit more small ball, a lot more ball screens involved in that. So I think that our influence on that has been a little bit, but I think that's just the evolution of the game. If you watch the NBA, the game is changing so much, and I think what our coaches have done in this league has changed with the game, because if you don't, it's going to leave you behind. And I think that's what's been great about this league. We're evolving with the style of the game globally, and it's allowed the players to be who they are. As you look at the all-league teams this year for early preseason, it's all guards, and it's all points or combo guards. There's not really a wing, there's not a power forward, there's not a center on that first team. That just shows you the depth of guard play and the small ball philosophy in this league.
Coach Brewster, would you like to add to that?
Yeah, it's changed. I really believe that for our side, watching how it's evolved, is it's become more of a hybrid league. So now you have players that can do multiple things, and even though they may be 6'1" and been classified as a classic 4, playing the game, they can play more on the perimeter, kind of almost taking on more of a European feel a little bit. I still think it's a very physical league at times, but you're starting to see those players that have a really bigger skill set. Even you look at guards now, they've got some guards now that can go down the block and post up, and so it's more of a hybrid type of play. So it's evolved again with players being bigger, stronger, and faster.
Another question, Wayne?
For the players?
Sure.
Okay. For Quinton and Makailah, this is a 3 time zone league. I might be the only one in the country. Is it hard to play different time zones, week after week, Central, Mountain, Pacific? Does it take a toll on your body or mental state of mind or anybody?
I would say it does. It does take a toll. And it's something, like we were saying earlier, the time management part is key. But as far as the coaching staff, they really get us on track with when we're leaving, when we need to get rest, and especially for us too, coaches have like a really good feel of when we need a little bit of extra rest or we need to get up and get going. So it's just an adjustment that you need to make. But yeah.
Makailah, any more to that? I know you addressed it a little bit before.
Yeah, I just agree with what Q said. It's also exciting, though, being able to travel. You can take it as a challenge with your body and stuff like that, but it's exciting to see new places, and people have to travel to us, too. So
let's try the phone conference moderator again. Do we have a question down the line?
Once again, if you would like to ask a question, please signal by pressing *1 on your telephone keypad. If you are using a speakerphone, please make sure your mute function is turned off to allow your signal to reach our equipment. We do have a question from Coulter Nunez of Skyline Sports.
Yeah, Quinton, just on the note of this being a guard-heavy league, how does that influence your mentality when you're preparing? I mean, do you feel the challenge each and every week going against these elite guards in the league like you are one yourself?
Yeah, going into each and every game, it's going to be an exciting and competitive matchup. And it's something that I know I'm looking forward to, and the other guys in this league are looking forward to. And it's a mindset to know that it's going to be a battle, but it's fun, going out there and playing the sport that we love and getting to do what we do and just having fun with it. It's going to be fun this year for sure.
Being the MVP in this league, the preseason MVP, above all those other guys, does that put pressure on you? I mean, do you feel a target on your back with that accolade?
Really, I don't know. It's a great honor, but it's something that you have to take as it's preseason, and you have to play the game, and it's something just I'm still blessed and honored to be able to play this game and be healthy and just do what God has allowed me to do, and it's something that I'm not really paying too much attention to, and something that I'm just gonna go have fun with.
Last one from me, just coming up just short like you guys did last year. Did that play any influence on how you went about the off season?
The last season? With last season ending how it did, I think that it will it only boosted us really this off season. We didn't get as far as we wanted to, and there was some disappointment for sure. But we know what we can do. We know with the returning guys that we have, we know our core values, what we do on and off the court. Our chemistry is at an all-time high, and I feel like this offseason, individually, each and every one of us has gotten better. And so as a whole, it's going to be fun to watch for sure.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you for your call. Again, just a reminder, feel free to call in if you're viewing this at this time to our conference call moderator and press the appropriate keys and we'll get you through for a question.
Once again, that is *1 to ask a question.
Can I call in?
We will take our next question from Jason Ashcraft with Big Sky. Please go ahead, sir.
This question is for Coach Brewster. Coach, women's basketball in this league lost one of the greatest coaches of all time in Robin Selvig. Maybe talk a little bit about your experience with Coach Selvig and over the years, and what does that do from an experience-wise to women's basketball in this conference?
He obviously was one of the all-time greats. I remember when I got the job, he called me and congratulated me. So it showed he was a class act from top to bottom. He grew the game. He's grown the conference to the Big Sky with their style of play and success. With Coach Selvig departing, you wish him well. We've had some battles, you can say. It's one of those things that you always had to be prepared when you played as a team. He's sly like a fox, when he was coaching. So he was really good about exploiting something if you weren't ready to make that adjustment. So obviously he made you better as a coach. He made the teams better. I hate to see him be gone, but at the same time, it's one of those things of that. It's time for the rest of the coaches in the league to step up and continue what he started, and I think we see that as you go through. But Coach Selvig's obviously got a great legacy at the University of Montana, and it's something that he took and put his heart and soul into, and it's something that we all can learn from.
All right, I have one more question. This one's for Coach Jones. Coach, it's already been talked about this league being a very guard-heavy league, but this is also a league where there are several teams that bring back a lot of returning starters from last year. Maybe kind of give us an idea of how much you think experience is going to play into the men's basketball season and for teams' hopes to possibly win the championship.
Well, I think experience is huge. Obviously, that's what's kind of won out in our league traditionally. The top 5 teams in our league, outside of obviously Weber and Montana, lose their starting centers, but they have their supporting cast back and some returners as far as they were redshirted last year. But I think even with Northern Arizona had some key pieces sitting out from injury, will rebound as well. So this league is, again, there's the preseason, and I just don't think we can put a lot of stock into that. Obviously, I think on any night, the teams, I've always said this, the teams that stay healthy, that chemistry stays right in that locker room will give themselves the best chance to win. But it's still, the ball's got to bounce the right way. You got to have some luck involved in that as well. I mean, we're a prime example of that. We won some games we probably didn't deserve to win, but we probably lost some games we probably deserved to win. That just shows you got to finish, and that's what's important to a team where we got to grow, where we lost a lot of games in the final 1 or 2 possessions and to a game that went into overtime that we probably could have pulled out in regulation, which we didn't. So just knowing the league, how competitive it is, the type of players that we have, the coaches that we have, I think that's why the veteran groups usually went out, because they know what the travel's like, they know what the preparation's all about, how well you got to be able to perform on a Saturday night regardless of what you did on a Thursday night. Those are crucial, and you don't really know that until you go through it, and that's why experience is so important. And with this league and having so much of it, it's going to be a great league. It's going to be a stressful league for us coaches, but at the same time, that's why we do what we do, and that's why these players play this game, because they want to be able to settle that between the lines.
All right, that's all for me. Thank you.
All right.
No further questions at this time.
No further questions. Okay.
Well, this concludes today's Big Sky Conference Basketball Digital Media Day Conference for the University of North Dakota women's and men's basketball programs. Thank you, coaches and players, for joining us. Thank you, all of you, for watching from the Betty Engelstad Sioux Center in Grand Forks. Thanks again, and have a great day.